Average new car prices continue to go up and up and up, and the list of affordable vehicles continues to go down and down and down. But don't despair, because the market still has a few options for us. There's the Chevrolet Trax, a front-wheel drive crossover, yours for just $23,495. The Nissan Sentra, a tech-forward compact sedan that starts at $23,845. And there's the Kia K4, a spacious sedan for only $23,535. But this is not the K4 sedan, it is the K4 hatchback, and I would say it's the best Kia K4 you can buy. Now, before I tell you why, I'll ask you to please subscribe to the CarGurus YouTube channel, and if you're ready to get shopping, go to CarGurus.com. Okay, a quick admission, the K4 hatchback doesn't start at $23,535 because it starts at the more expensive EX trim. And when you take the price of that one and add on the destination, well, it starts at just over $26K. But look at it. It looks like $1 million. Now, our test car is painted sparkling yellow, which also isn't available on the EX trim, so that means that this is a GT line, which is more expensive, but let's not talk about money. It's so gauche. Instead, take a look at the LED headlights with all these small cube elements. We also have the aggressive amber running lights with all the angles and this skinny little opening of a grille. It's a good looking front end, and I think it gets better in profile. Ah, the hatchback, alive and well. Up front, the K4 hatchback and K4 sedan are pretty much the same, but past the rear doors, the roof and bodywork change dramatically. We have a more upright roof line above the rear passengers, and the back terminates abruptly rather than stretching on and on like it does in the sedan. Personally, I find the sedan silhouette to be a little ungainly. It's very long, and I think this looks much better. It also provides a more spacious trunk, at least on paper. The hatchback offers 22.2 cubic feet of space versus 14.6 in the sedan, although to be honest, it doesn't look much bigger. Things improve when you drop the seats. The 59.3 cubic feet of cargo space in this car is less than 5 cubic feet smaller than the new Kia Seltos. And close the K4's liftgate to see the car's best angle. A wide stance made wider, at least visually, by these impressive taillights. This is a great car to drive behind. Unless you want to go fast, in which case, don't sit behind a Kia K4. They all come with front-wheel drive, and the base engine is a naturally aspirated 2-liter 4-cylinder that makes 147 horsepower, 132 pound-feet of torque. Translated to English, that means slow, but it's a compact hatchback. It's supposed to be slow. And this one is a GT line turbo. That's right, turbo. That means we have a 1.6-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, makes 190 horsepower, and 195 pound-feet of torque. And you know what? It's still pretty slow. Now, maybe I'm being a little harsh, because sure, if you compare this with like a Nissan Sentra, it feels pretty snappy, and the 8-speed automatic transmission handles the power pretty well. It certainly is better, I would imagine, than the CVT that comes in the non-turbo K4. But based on the styling, based on the color of the paint, I can understand if you were thinking this was a bit of a hot hatch. Unfortunately, a Volkswagen GTI competitor, it is not. Now, if you get into the corners a little bit, get into a rhythm, well, the K4 hatchback, particularly the turbo, can be a pretty enjoyable car to drive through some twisty turns. The brakes are also pretty good, and the suspension is good. Now, it bothers me a little bit. Kia puts a multi-link rear suspension in the K4 GT line and the GT line turbo, but the K4 hatchback EX trim, that gets a torsion beam rear suspension. And this is not new for Kia. They've done this in a bunch of models where they'll have different rear suspensions based on the different trims. And I say, just put the good suspension in all the trims. How much money could you possibly be saving? Now, all that said, the K4, there's not a whole lot to dislike. Sure, I might want a little more speed. The throttle is really the lacking part of this car, but overall, an enjoyable car to drive if you keep your expectations in line. One other thing that actually does bother me, it's more ergonomic than performance. I feel like the steering wheel it's like thick in all the wrong places. It makes it hard to comfortably grip the wheel and use the paddle shifters. Not that you necessarily need to be using the paddle shifters. Also, it just feels like it's hard to really grip with any sort of confidence. But admittedly, this could 100% be a me problem. With regards to fuel economy, our car has a 12.4 gallon gas tank, which isn't huge, but we should get 33 mpg on the highway. It's 26 in the city, 28 combined. All told, we should be seeing about 350 miles between fill-ups. Admittedly, the lower powered, the base engine K4, it's gonna do a little bit better than that. So here's the deal. If you're in the market for a compact hatchback and you're looking at the K4, this is my advice. This car is not a hot hatchback. It's not a super fun, super sporty vehicle, but it's also not priced like a hot hatchback. It is sort of a Goldilocks compromise. You know, it's like, it's not gonna be quite as capable in bad weather as something like a Subaru Impreza or an all-wheel drive Mazda 3, but it's more fun to drive, at least than the Impreza, and it's cheaper than both of those vehicles. And similarly with the all-gas powertrain options, no hybrid, it's not going to give you the fuel economy of like a Honda Civic hybrid, but again, it's priced quite a bit more affordably than a Honda Civic hybrid. So it's kind of a, you know what you're getting into and you won't be disappointed. It is a good car. It's really smartly engineered. It does drive well. It's not super sporty, but it's reasonably fun. The only other car I'd probably compare head-to-head with this one is a Toyota Corolla hatchback. And honestly, this car looks way better than that one does. It also has better tech than, frankly, any of those competitors. Kia started updating its tech interface a few years ago, and both the K4 and the K4 hatchback have the new software. Out are those little purple icons, and in are these big, beautiful, clear, easy to read, easy to see tiles. This is such an improvement. The touchscreen is 12.3 inches, the driver info display is 12.3 inches, and separating the two readouts is this little climate control touch panel, which is quite inconveniently almost completely blocked from my view by the steering wheel. We have a few physical controls, notably this roller for the volume and these climate control switches down below. And if you want to use voice controls, Kia's AI-powered system is better than pretty much any of the competitors. It's available on the GT line, standard on the GT line Turbo. And you just say, hey Kia, that wakes it up, and you say, I want to go to La Mulita coffee shop. And it's really quick and really good at locating exactly what it is you need to go to. Except it still is listening to me. Let's see what it does. Wow, look at that. Even though it was still listening and capturing all of that extra detail, it identified that I said, I want to go to La Mulita coffee shop, and there we have it on the navigation system. Sorry, Kia, relax. Of course, we have wireless Android Auto and wireless Apple CarPlay, and this wireless phone charger is standard across the lineup as well. Our car is equipped with a $2,300 technology package, which among other things adds ventilated front seats, driver's seat memory, a heated steering wheel, and ambient lighting. The GT line Turbo also gets the upgraded stereo system. It's from Harman Kardon, which is a brand I usually like a lot in car audio systems, but I find it a little underwhelming here. Now, the seats are pretty comfortable. They're this two-tone leather upholstery in our test car, although as with any vehicle this size, it gets a little stiff if you're in them for too long. The GT line trims, turbo and not, get a 10-way power adjustable driver's seat with lumbar adjustment, but the front passenger is a 6-way manual affair in every trim, and no lumbar. I generally like the amount of storage that you have, particularly given the K4 hatchback's really small footprint. I will say the center console is a little small, but you get these nifty cup holders that fold out of the way, giving you a little extra space for things if you need it, right here in the middle. And in the back, both the K4 and the K4 hatchback have excellent legroom and headroom, about 1 inch more headspace in the hatchback than the sedan. Financially speaking, the Kia K4 is a breath of fresh air, because by today's standards, the K4 sedan's low starting price is truly affordable. And although the K4 hatchback does come at a bit of a price premium, with the EX trim starting at $26,085, for that amount of money, you are still getting a very handsome brand new car. Now, our test vehicle, a GT line Turbo with sparkling yellow extra cost paint and an extra cost technology package, and equipped with extra cost carpeted floor mats, rang in at $32,870. And given how many times I just said extra cost, well, that's a pretty good deal. But bear with me here. Is this a significant upgrade over the Kia Soul? Now, don't get me wrong, I think the K4 sedan, I like it just fine, and I genuinely believe that the K4 hatchback is the best version of the K4. But I also know that it uses similar powertrains, similar suspensions as the dearly departed Soul did, so I'm not sure how much of an upgrade it's really giving us. Truthfully, I suppose that if you liked the Kia Soul, you should consider the K4 hatchback. It's more modern, more attractive, maybe slightly less practical 2026 alternative. What do you think? Am I off my rocker? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the CarGurus YouTube channel. You can also go to CarGurus.com to read Christian Wardlaw's take on the Kia K4 hatchback. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.